Welcome to the 189th broadcast of the T-Row Show. It's your host, Keith. This is going to be kind of a short one tonight, guys. I've been watching the Millie Weaver story, and I can tell you this is a psyop on what they're doing to her as far as breaking up her family and all this other kind of stuff. I don't know if you know who Millie Weaver is, but she works on her own. I think she's like a investigative journalist type deal, and she's fairly well known among a lot of people. And what we're looking at here is a psyop. I mean, basically, what's happening is they're tearing her family apart because everybody's saying, well, they're not doing it because of the show that just came out. We're not doing it for that. And I've been watching the show, and that's exactly what it looks like to me. I'll show you what I'm talking about. Okay, this is Millie Weaver here. I don't know if anybody's ever seen her. If you haven't, that's fine. It's arrested on multiple felony charges, including robbery and obstructing justice. Now, the people that know her they're a Christian family, the whole deal. They take care of their children. Nothing like this is basically it's all BS. But I'll show you here in just a minute how they do this. A correspondent for InfoWars, the Alex Jones helmed far right media organization. Most they put in far right. Okay. That means a lefty's writing this. Known as a hub for conspiracy theories and false news stories, was arrested Friday. So they got to put the conspiracy theories and false news stories. Now, what this means is that the charges they have them under are not real. So they've got to get them on false news stories and far-right conspiracy theories. They're just crazy freaking people, and that's what they're trying to portray on everybody. They're already tried in the media here. This is Microsoft News, so they're already tried here. It says evening at her home in Diamond, Ohio, midway between Youngstown. Blah blah blah. Why put all these? This is doxing. Okay. Why put all these details in there? Doesn't make any sense. Millicent Millie Weaver, 29, her husband Gavin Wentz were taken into custody by the Portage County Sheriff's Office. Each faces one count each of robbery, tampering with evidence, obstructing justice, and domestic violence. Then they said, according to jail officials cited, all right, by Daily Dot. Publicly available online jail records reviewed by Law Crime do not contain precise charges for Weaver and Wentz. Really? Then how the hell do you know all this? How do you know all this if the records don't contain the precise charges, and the indictment is not supposed to be opened or even told to them what they're being charged with, apparently to Ohio law, according to their bullshit Ohio law, until Monday when they go in front of a judge. They're being held without bond. And then they said Wentz was booked at 151 and Weaver was booked 155, the records indicate. Then how did you know all this shit? Okay, Weaver recorded video of her arrest, which she did. She did huge breaking news that she was about to reveal. I've been watching that movie. Okay, so Weaver recorded during the video. She implied that she was being detained because of a huge breaking news that she was about to reveal. She says, guys, I don't know what is happening right now. The police have shown up at my house, and they said they are arresting me. They said that the grand jury indicted me for something. I have no idea. This is crazy, she says, addressing the camera directly. Now, I watched what Alex Jones had to say, and he seems to think it was from her mother. Because apparently 4 or 5 months ago, they had a fight or something like that. And you're welcome to go over and listen on the updates there. Apparently they had some kind of fight, broke a $500 phone with her mother, and apparently all this stuff that she had was scaring the crap out of her mother. I don't know if that's true. That came from Alex Jones, blah, blah, blah. However, they're trying to call CPS and get her children taken from her and all this other kind of shit, along with her husband, all right? Now, I'm literally about to break huge breaking news right now. I'm being arrested, and I have no idea why. Okay, and you're welcome to watch the video there. That video has been put everywhere. A few days prior to her arrest, Weaver, who consistently traffics in misleading and false information, boom, there you go. Okay, they have to smear this woman. They have to smear this woman because I've been watching this video. Okay, and I got one thing for Obama. You are so screwed, man. Completely screwed. The CIA is completely screwed here. This woman had you by the sack, buddy, and she still does. And we at the T-Row Show downloaded her video. It's free video. We're going to make sure that this thing goes into evidence as far as the great jury is concerned. Okay? We're going to be looking at this because she has got Obey Me Bam Bam by the nuts, folks. And I'm telling you, she does. And I knew that he had a lot of control over a lot of things because of Juicy Smollett and that line of BS that guy did. Okay? But this goes further than this. I'm only halfway through the movie. And I didn't really need to see any more. So it's unbelievable the evidence this woman has. It's dangerous stuff. And I don't think that honestly, I don't think that she is qualified to actually fight these people. Because when she saw him at the house, some people are saying that it's fake and everything. It's not fake. You just go and call the sheriff's office. You'll find out. It's not fake. It wasn't to promote a video because the video is free. So it doesn't really matter. If you're going to do something like that and start lying to people, okay, if you're going to make a lot of money, but that's not what's happening here. It says upload a video asserting, because I know that this was about the video because I've dealt with these people before. The same people she's talking about, I've dealt with them. They screwed me over really bad. They ruined my name and everything else, and they're still doing it. The same exact people are still doing it to me. They've got all kinds of crap out there about me and all this stuff. None of it's true. And I want to thank Millie and her team and their husband and everybody else for bringing this crap out, because now, folks, once you watch the video, which I'm going to put below this video here on the T-Row Show, and for anybody who's watching, okay, you'll need to go to https, okay, colon / t-roh show.com, and I'll show you the link. Last time I put the link up, I was attacked for that. All right. Asserting a small group of government contractors were hired by government officials to frame the Trump campaign. And I didn't care about that. I just wanted to know the structure and how they operated, and set him up for a Russia collusion investigation. Well, I don't really care about all that crap because it's all just stupid, but it does tell you exactly how they're organized, which is more damaging than some Russia collusion bullshit. Okay. Now, for what it's worth, Jones had previously claimed the Weaver was in possession of secret Hillary Clinton emails and can prove that the former President Barack Obama personally controls the media, U.S. media. Yeah, he does. Weaver's arrest immediately spawned a slew of conspiracy theories. Oh, it's just conspiracy. There's nothing going on here. Nothing to see here, folks. Nothing to see here. Surrounding the circumstances of her detainment, with several right-wing media personalities, right-wing, claiming the government was trying to prevent her from going public with an upcoming documentary. Now, what they wanted to do was smear her so nobody would believe what's in the documentary, but I know it's real. However, an official at the Portage County Jail told Wonkette that Weaver's arrest had nothing to do with the government papers or with exposing the deep state or with Hillary Clinton emails. Yes, it did. It had everything to do with that. Because you take some really decent people and you start smearing them like they're doing right now before they're even charged with anything, before they even go before a judge. Yeah, we know exactly what they were. Weaver was indicted by a grand jury. I doubt that. I absolutely doubt that because I've never seen anybody actually within a situation like this have a grand jury. because the grand jury, they never reveal the minutes of the meeting. Officers say the Weaver's video of her own arrest, under Ohio law, details pertaining to the defendant indicted by a grand jury typically remain under seal until that person has had the opportunity to appear before a judge. Weaver and her husband were both being held without bond until Monday, when they will appear before Judge Rebecca Doherty. So apparently, this woman has a. I've been watching some of the comments. This woman has a DUI, so she's obviously compromised. Now I'm going to tell you this one time. It says details pertaining to the defendant indicted by a grand jury typically remain under seal. If they're under seal, how do they know that they're facing one count each of robbery, tampering with evidence, obstructing justice, and domestic violence? How do they know that? How would the police officers know that? Oh, because they're under seal, right? Bullshit. This is all bullshit. So just letting you know, it's a big line of crap. Don't believe any propaganda you hear, especially if you watch the show, you'll see what I'm talking about because she does prove it beyond a shadow of a doubt. Now, I wanted to bring this up. I don't know if I read this last week, but I'm going to read it this week. It came out 7 days ago. I'm really not sure. I did read it on the assembly call, but I haven't read it here. Hold on. It'd be easier if I don't waste your time and just go check. Okay, I just went and checked the 188th broadcast, and it's still, I hadn't gone through this with everybody. So this is the Committee of the National Assembly for the Government of the United States of America hereby accuses the Democratic Party with paying compliance and genocide. It's going to help you open up a little bit as far as understanding what's happening to you. It says the committee cannot find any proof that the numbers of COVID-19 deaths nor 19 cases are accurate in any way. It says what the committee has found is that the contact tracing itself is being used to manufacture the high numbers in both deaths and infected, which result in isolation of the intended victims. Folks, you got a lot of teenagers that are committing suicide because of this crap. Okay, I'm not saying that everything that they're saying is actually accurate, meaning not everybody is sitting at home, not everybody is wearing masks, not everybody is doing the social distancing, and the numbers are jacked up anyways. So what they think is going on is not really going on in most cases, only some cases, okay? Meaning people are actually isolating themselves and all that. There are a lot of people out there just having a good time, just telling, screw you guys. I don't listen to your bullshit. It says, okay, example, if one person is found to have COVID-19, a guesstimate is used based on the contact tracing answers that are retrieved from the patient and exaggerated to higher numbers of positive cases of others that are claimed to be positive and having COVID-19 and published as accurate information, okay? So what's happening is this. One person says, yeah, I was in touch with this guy, this woman, that woman, blah, blah, blah. Okay, in the last 14 days. So they call those people. Now, if those people don't come in to get a test, they're positive for COVID, and everybody they know. That's why these numbers jump so high so quick. And then there was one lady, there was a nurse on Facebook that said, I don't understand what's going on here. We put in 70 test kits that weren't even open, and they came back 70 positive cases. So we all know that everything's being jacked up. Plus, it's not really that big of a deal. We know there's a big old fight going on, and Millie Weaver covers it and tells everybody what's happening. Contact equals positive for COVID-19 according to the Democratic Party. It's all being run by the Democrats, all being run by them. And the Republicans, just to let y'all know, as both parties are doing it. There have also been a lot of cases of false positives, therefore the accuracy of the test kits are in question. Just ask the Ohio governor. Remember when Trump was supposed to see the Ohio governor, and all of a sudden he came up positive for COVID and couldn't see him And then 2 days later, he had 2 tests that show negative. Hey, I'm negative now. Yeah, that's pretty good there, buddy. It's freaking hilarious. The guesstimate is then used to incite the public at large to panic so that the Dems have the ability and cooperation to sabotage its economy in order to win an election, thereby blaming its opponent under self-projection practice. So you do it, you project that on your opponent, that they did it. You blame them for what you did. That happens in jail all the time. All right, they're constantly blaming somebody else or setting somebody else up for a crime, and that's just basic criminal practice. Now, the committee calls this a torture vote, which is not a vote, and therefore the future election of the company is rigged, which results in a non-representative in fact, regardless of party affiliation. Okay, the Dems have used riots, destruction of private public property, race, bigotry, white supremacy, and a host of other tactics with the goal of torturing the minds of the inhabitants into compliance of a vote that moves towards the Dems. The tactic is an MK Ultra program used by the CIA to torture young children into a split personality so they are compliant sex slaves for the ultra-rich, and is now being used on everyone wherein the FCC remains very quiet while the torture occurs. Okay, communications people. Yeah, they're actually the ones that are liable for what the news is doing. As a result of these tactics, a split and or divide has occurred in the country that has been accomplished through pain compliance, wherein a personality is split into 2 separate personalities created by the mainstream media. The same can be done with the whole country, hence the far left and far right. That's why the country is being split. It's actually being split between north and south. I didn't know if it was going to go east or west or north and south, but they're doing it north and south again. Okay, they're going to put the Dems in the north and then the rest in the south. Okay, so the goal of this type of program is usually civil war, wherein a population reduction occurs, which is the ultimate goal. It says when the population is reduced, more real estate is available for the survivors. Get what's going on? United Nations is nothing more than a real estate scam. Always has been. You kill off people, you get land pretty cheap. The actual cure for the COVID-19 has been exposed under the threat of pains and penalties by the Dems against the whistleblowers, which is what they're doing with Millie right now. They're tearing that family apart to send a message. Hey, you mess with us, this is what we're going to do. Just typical thug crap. It says due to the reduction in political donors, the stock market and the investments in a planned vaccine has had to occur for the Dems to fund his party regardless as to whether pain compliance was used or not to manipulate the price of stocks in the up and coming miracle vaccine. So they're going to try to force a miracle vaccine on everybody so that they can make money. Because why? Because people stopped donating to the Democratic Party. That's all it was. They had to figure out another way to make money. Sick, isn't it? But it's true. So they created this whole scenario. So the more you don't vote for them, and the more you don't donate to them, they'll keep doing crap like this until you vote for them. That's called pain compliance. It's torture. It's illegal. But what difference does that make, right? When the Dems get the votes and they get what they want, the COVID-19 virus will magically disappear. It says inhabitants are being told that their relatives have COVID-19 when in fact in many cases they do not. It has also been reported that many deaths are being blamed on COVID-19 when in fact they did not die in that motorcycle accident of COVID-19. Death certificates fraud is happening all over the country. It is much easier to arrest and permanently exile the heads of the Dems rather than fight a civil war. So instead of all of us killing each other, why don't we just arrest Pelosi, Nadler, Schiff, Waters, Clintons, Obama, or some of the heads of the Dems? Even if the numbers were to show that the Dems winning a lot of seats within the company, it does not mean that anyone will even stand surety, whether voluntary surety or not, for any of its policies, and therefore the credit windows must close. One manipulated or fake vote brings all votes into question. So basically what you're looking at here is this. Even if they all got in there and it was all socialism and all this kind of crap, I don't think anybody's going to pay for their crap. I don't think anybody's going to cooperate. You can't force people to like you, Dems. Just give it. Just give it up. You can't force it. You get horrible freaking ideas. In other words, the Dems are saying, give us the vote and we will stop the violence in the streets. Stop damaging and or destroying private and public property. Stop killing police officers and claim report all over the world that the people voted for communism voluntarily, thereby destroying the former economy by sending the people a bill for damages caused by the terrorism of the Communist Party, coming in as the heroes to blame capitalism by blaming capitalism for the damage that the Communist Party caused in the first place. So that's basically it. You know, it's just all manipulation crap. And sorry, I'm just, you know, you can't make me like you if you want to, you know, hey, I'm going to beat you up if you don't like me. It's basically what they're saying. Okay, I got one more here, and this is what was written a little while ago. It says, if you are paying attention, you will notice that attorneys are the ones in the country wherein their fees are enforced by a judge in a courtroom and written in statutes. Have y'all noticed that? The only ones in the country that do that. Further, most if not all contracts have the same condition in it when referencing attorney's fees. So I would say including attorney's fees. So you write it in the contract that you're guaranteeing this guy's fee. And I'm thinking, why would you do that? It doesn't make any sense. My fee wasn't guaranteed. Isn't guaranteed by statute or anything else, but the lawyers are. Kind of tells you there's a one-sided thing going on here. Attorneys will claim human rights when questioning their craft. You know, they have a right to work. They will say that it is a human right to work, or they will quote the Bible that reads, "A man is worth his hire." They only quote the Bible when it's advantageous to them. Okay, and this is the Law of Nations, and this is chapter 3 of the book of the Constitution of a State and Duties and Rights of a Nation in this respect. Okay, the Constitutions, this is a quote. This is the law of nations that everyone here is subject to. You just never read it. The Constitution and laws of a state are the basis of public tranquility, and the firmest support of political authority, and the security for liberty of the citizens. But this Constitution is in vain, is a vain phantom, and the best laws are useless if they are not religiously observed. The nation ought then to watch very attentively in order to render them equally respected by those who govern and by the people destined to obey. To attack the Constitution of a state and to violate its laws is a capital crime against society. And if those guilty of it are invested with authority, they add to this crime a perfidious abuse of the power with which they are entrusted. The nation ought constantly to repress them with its utmost vigor and vigilance, as the importance of the case requires. It is very uncommon to see the laws in the Constitution of State openly and boldly opposed. Well, they're doing that now, aren't they? It is against silent and gradual attacks that a nation ought to be particularly on its guard. Now, an attorney has an oath to a constitution. However, they rarely, if at all, adhere to their oath or their state constitution. They don't adhere to that either. An attorney likes to call their position and claim to be a public officer. However, never serve the public. If they're a public officer, why do they have to charge a fee? They shouldn't have to. Oh, well, that's some private practice. I said that, but you're still claiming to be a public officer, an officer of the court, a public officer. But yet you say, oh, it's private practice. Well, you can't have it both ways. It doesn't work that way. This chapter contains the department's policy on grand jury practice. Now check this out. I'm going in a different direction here. In dealing with a grand jury, the prosecutor must always conduct himself or herself as an officer of the court. See? No, look at that. Whose function is to ensure that justice is done and that guilt shall not escape, nor innocence suffer. Well, we haven't seen that in a long time. The prosecutor must recognize that the grand jury is an independent body whose functions include not only the investigation of the crime and the initiation of criminal prosecution, but also the protection of a citizenry from unfounded criminal charges. You mean like Millie Weaver? Yeah, I hear you. And the Weaver family over there. Says the prosecutor's responsibility is to advise the grand jury on the law and represent evidence for its consideration. In discharging these responsibilities, the prosecutor must be scrupulously fair to all witnesses. It must do nothing to inflame or otherwise improperly influence the grand jurors. I doubt that ever happens, because I've seen them where they say they had a grand jury, they just did it on paper. The lawyer just decided you were guilty and then started writing his own indictment, and he signs it as if he's the grand jury. It says, please observe that the aforementioned quote mentions an attorney and not the public. The public, any member of the public, is supposed to be able to go into a grand jury at any time. Does anybody know that? If they had evidence of a crime? Because grand juries are not supposed to be hijacked by the American Bar Association members. For with the hijacking of grand jury process by the ABA, crimes go unreported all the time. You know how they did this? It was from the Civil War back in, I think it's 1861, 62, in that area, where they came in and said, there's a lot of civil rights being violated here with racism. So that's why you hear them talk about racism all the time. That's when a lot of the American Bar Associations were put in and all that crap. It's about racism. So that's why you're hearing it. It's the only reason why they're hearing it, because that's kind of their charter. So the legal framework, I remember reading it. I just got to find the research again, and I'll read it to you probably next couple of Retiro shows. I'll read it there. The legal framework causes a hijacking of the police by the ABA. Essentially, the police work for the ABA and are privatized, thereby taking orders from those that are neither representative nor elected in fact. Okay? So what we're saying here is this. You have to be a member of the ABA to be in the court, American Bar Association, or the state bar. Same thing, folks. There's nothing different. You have to be a member of the bar in order to be a part of any of the court, like a defense attorney, prosecuting attorney, a judge. All of you have to be members in order to be a part of that, or the state bar. Okay? Now, that's what we call hijacking a judicial branch. You hijack the whole thing, because who voted for the head of the ABA? Anybody have an election on that? Did you vote for the head of the guy who runs the American Bar Association? Nobody had an election, anything like that, but he has hijacked the courts. All the bar associations hijacked the courts. They did this back in the 60s when they took the term judicial department and turned it into judiciary. All right, now, essentially the police work for the ABA. Well, that means they don't work for the state. So how can you claim to be state officers and working for the state if you only get your marching orders from the members of the bar, all the way from the legislature to the judicial branch and everything else? So, okay, well, let's look at this in a weird way. That could be treason against the state, right? Wouldn't you think? Treason against the state. You're serving a foreign venue, a foreign association. Well, how could it be foreign? It says American in the name, just like the Federal Reserve. It says federal there. It must be part of the federal. Well, in essence, if you go back and figure out that it's run by the International Bar Association and the City of London, I believe the City of London is foreign to this country and all the states. If that's the case, then why are you working for a foreign association and doing its will against the people here, your neighbors, your mothers, your fathers, your parents, your families, you traitorous pieces of shit? Okay? So all those guys with a badge, wake the hell up, you moron, and figure out who you're working for, and then you'll figure out why you were used as cannon fodder and why you're getting hit in the head with freaking bricks now. Duh. You still haven't woke up yet. How dumb you got to be. Seriously. I know y'all are having a rough time, and everybody knows you kind of deserve it. Everybody knows that. But you still haven't woke up yet. You got to repent, man. Get on your knees. You were traitors to your country. You've been serving uh, a foreign country, city of London, the whole time you've been in office. You sit there and do what the ABA tells you. Look, check this out. This all means one thing. Now listen to me, badge guys. Okay, listen. We're trying to help you here. We're not trying to give you some conspiracy theory bullshit. We're trying to help you out. You're in the wrong. You just got to face the fact that you're wrong. This all means one thing. The ABA are controlling the police while the people pay the police and the grand jury to exist. Now think about it that way. Now, why can't the people just go right to the grand jury and screw the fucking prosecutor? Why do you need him? Most of them don't do their damn work anyways until it politically uh, um, benefits the ABA, American Bar Association. Did it feel good when they brought you into the club? Is that what it was? You felt like you were part of something? It says, it is the ABA that hides the crimes of the bad cops that have been murdering the inhabitants all over the country. It is the ABA that has been collecting revenue in the form of traffic tickets, where none of the revenue goes to local or state treasury. And guys, I know what you guys do, man. They've been paying you off to do that. And I know that you can use the tickets as training hours, and you can turn the training hours and convert it into cash so you can go on trips. I know that because I've heard it from you. Cops have told me this. Okay? We get it. Oh, we get tickets in the form of training hours. Well, that's legal. You're being paid off by the ABA to do their dirty work so they can make money. You're not serving the people. Don't sit there and tell me you're serving the people. You're doing it to fill the pockets. I get it. You need to repent from that. All right? You need to stop that. You're not the good guy when you do stuff like that. All right? You got to stop it. Now, it is the ABA that has caused thousands of illegals to cross the borders. It is the ABA that has caused millions of inhabitants to be criminalized for violation of administrative rules for the purpose of stealing money. How many people do you know, Mr. Cop, that you've been fleecing for a long time? Everybody knows you've been doing it. Everyone knows that. We're trying to get you to repent. Get on your knees. Ask for forgiveness for this shit. Because you're going to burn if you don't. I'm telling you. If the ABA that has caused the hijacking of the judicial branch of every state government, thereby committing capital crimes, we can go on and on. Therefore, capital criminals are not entitled to fees. And perhaps that's why the attorney's fees are without any merit. Y'all get it now? So, and people are you're welcome to use some of this if you want it in your cases and things like that to prove your cases against them. This is unbelievable on how the company does what they do. And how can a guy sit there and be a cop for 30 years and not figure this out? Seriously. How dumb you have to be. You haven't figured out that you haven't done any research on the ABA, on where the ABA came from, the International Bar, none of that. You haven't done any of the research. Or did you figure it out and you just didn't care? Hey, it's a job, man. I'm just trying to feed my family. You know? It just shocks me sometimes how this country is, how ignorant people can be, because you have a way and you have a chance to do the right thing, and you're choosing not to do it. That's sad. That's just really sad. Millie Weaver chose to do the right thing. Now, her and her family might be paying the price right now. There's some very bad people doing some very bad things to that family right now. And I'd hope the people will pray for them, pray for their family, help that family. Their children are. I think the little boy in the video, I said, "Get the BB gun." he was going to shoot him some cops. Get the BB gun, Dad. a little boy like that. Now that should tell the cop something too, right? And then the cop says, and the cop's doing something wrong when he starts getting all nasty. No, I'm being pretty reasonable here. Just shut up, idiot. We all know you're working for the bad guys. We all know you're working for the Dems. Everybody knows that how many times you killed people, murder people for all their for money, the whole deal. We get it. Oh, I'm sorry for training hours, right? Where you could trade training hours in for cash or tickets to Cancun. All right, so you're toast, and that's what this movie does. All right, that's what her movie does. It exposes everything that's going on. You see right through what's going on, and that's why I'm telling you, Obama, you're screwed. You're so screwed on this this movie. It's over, dude. It's over. That has been downloaded probably by 10,000 people to make sure that video stays online, just to burn your sorry ass and everybody else you work for. The CIA has been lying about me for years. Now I know who's been doing it, Brennan, you piece of shit. Isn't that what you told Jonathan? All those lies about me, you piece of shit? Now, what comes around goes around, you piece of shit, Brennan. What comes around goes around. It's about time. I love it. You freaking piece of shit. All of you are. And you did it for what? Screwed your people over, screwed your country over for what? And I'm sure I'm not the only one. There's been many, many others. But I've watched these guys operate, and what's happened to the Millie Weaver and her family, what's happening to them, I've seen a thousand times. I've seen it happen 1,000 times. The exact same BS. You're not hiding anything. It's really sad that you're living like that and you're doing that to your fellow human beings. This world is never going to get any better with people like that in it. Okay, and hopefully one day they'll get on their knees and ask for forgiveness and come around and realize what they've been doing, how they've been doing it, and then turn into some good people that will actually do something in this world that's worthwhile doing. That's worth doing. Right now, they're just pieces of crap. Maybe those two whistleblowers can kind of talk to them that are in the movie, kind of talk to them and say, look, you can't keep doing this crap to people. It's not cool. It's not power. It's just stupid. That's all it is. You're just screwing with people's lives. But don't worry. I mean, we're going to probably intervene in that case soon. A lot of the evidence is already in front of the great jury with Millie Weaver and her family. I don't want to see those kids broken up, and I think Alex is too far gone here. I don't think he even knows it. Whatever the hell. I don't know. I can't speculate anyways. All right. Well, appreciate you listening. It's the 189th broadcast of the T Rowe Show. Please watch the movie. It's going to be below this video on the T Rowe. I'm not going to put that link on YouTube. It's t-rohshow.com. That's t-rohshow.com. And for others who know what a dash is, that's t-rohshow.com. Go over there and hit the 189th broadcast of the T Rowe Show, and the Weaver movie will be there. I believe you can also see it on other channels also. So it's not just here, but we just want to make sure it's available for everybody to see. It's incredible, by the way. Don't forget the John Adams show that is on the T Rowe Show. Don't forget that. It's a good show. He's reading some extremely good information that people really need to know. And we also have the on the T Row show. We've got the frontline doctors. We got that video. There's some other videos that we have that everybody they thought they got rid of, but we put it back up again. So thanks for listening, and we will see you next week.